Okay, so I'm titling this video something around the name of why I have so many interests, or rather, I have so many interests, why do I keep them all? And so, just to give you some perspective, I have a lot of like different hobbies, interests, whatever you want to call them. I like learning languages, like I know Spanish and Italian more or less, and then I have a bunch of other ones that I've done, German, Siswati, stuff like that, like that I've studied less of. Um, I like traveling, so I've been to some other places and just generally going out and meeting new people, learning the culture, like I mentioned, learning the language. Um, I love marine biology specifically. Like I love learning about all the different animals and the life in the ocean and how it all interacts. I love basically, like earth science as well. That's kind of similar, just to throw in there. I love hiking. I really love, like getting out in nature. So like hiking, um, I don't know. I just always feel so much more energized. I'm reading, for example, I'm reading an earth science book right now. I'm starting to read Atomic Habits. I really love, a whole bunch of different things. And some more of those interests will probably pop into my head as I'm sort of talking about this concept that I want to go over, which is I feel like these interests are so valuable um, as a reflection of a broader society today. I feel like under this realm of capitalism, or might you say just the way that our jobs are structured, is the goal of work is to be hyper specialized in like one area. So right now I'm studying somewhere along the lines of engineering or computer science. And that requires like years of study in like one particular tiny little sort of field, for example. And other than the fact that that's tough because I have a lot of different interests, that sort of signifies that for a job today, you have like essentially one very, pretty niche set of roles. And that doesn't really allow you, given, work in terms of 40 hours a week, or school, say you're doing 40 hours a week, for example, doesn't give you as much time to pursue your interests. And, if companies had their own way, they would say you only do your job. This is what you're doing outside of class or work, and you're only going to be doing this one thing. And, some of the narratives that I've found online endorse that sort of method of, I don't know, like locking in, like just doing one thing and doing one thing really well, which I don't think is not valuable. As in, I think if you are trying to get really good at something, it definitely makes sense to just do a lot of that one thing and keep practicing and keep trying different methods and stuff. Like if you're trying to do YouTube, like try out different editing styles. If you're trying drop shipping, I don't know, try different products. I get those sorts of things on my YouTube feed. But I do not envision a world where I myself give up my hobbies and my interests for these sorts of roles in society. I just can't. I just can't. I love so many things, and I just have to research. I have to research these things. I have to read about these things. I have to watch things about these things. I have to do these things, like all of my different hobbies. And I feel like a life without pursuing all of these different sorts of interests would not be one that's fulfilling to me. Like, um, oh, I had another hobby that I was thinking of, and I've totally forgotten. Uh, but I guess also technology engineering. That's what I'm studying for sure. So trying to write programs, websites, stuff like that is really fun that I do in my free time as well. And I just feel like sometimes it's can be undervalued. Or, well, there's two aspects to this. One, it can be undervalued. And I just believe that these hobbies sort of give me this sense of enjoyment out of my life that sometimes the work or school that I'm doing doesn't entirely give me. So that's part A. And then part B is people tend to, and sometimes even me myself, like I tend to feel like it is a waste of time when I could be getting school or work done, right? A waste of time to pursue these sorts of hobbies. And I have to keep telling myself that that's not the case. Like, even if there are times when I'm procrastinating and I'm, writing code, or I'm doing music production, that's another one that I'm really into, doing music production, or, I'm practicing learning a language, like, they might not be in line with the primary task that I have at hand, the primary role, student, worker, whatever, caretaker, could be. It might not be totally in line, but that doesn't mean that A, I'm not learning really valuable skills from it that I might be able to apply to other areas of my life. For example, I'm thinking about music production, and then I was like, well, what if I end up making YouTube videos? What if I end up making the actual songs for the YouTube videos that I'm making, right? Or, languages. If I'm traveling somewhere, or I just want to interact with people, then that's a great skill to have. Earth science or geology, like I can go out and tell like what the sort of different rocks are and their formations and sedimentary and stuff like that, and classify them, which is just cool because I nerd out about that stuff. So, but anyways, so I think they're valuable skills, but I also think that there's just this inherent sense of enjoyment. Like, life can be challenging, life can be a lot. Have fun with it too. Like, enjoy your hobbies because, we only got one life to sort of spend on them, right? So I just feel like, I wanted to make this video because I feel like sometimes it can be undervalued or really just overlooked on how important hobbies are, and how, to me at least, they're a necessity in my life. And hopefully for those of you who, think you don't have time, or rather just don't think they're very valuable, hopefully you can understand that the ability to pursue your hobbies or interests and recharge, even if there are so many and you don't get a ton of time to do each of them, which will be another video, they're still very valuable to have. So I think that's all. I think I'll stop blabbering. Thanks so much for watching this video. I've already gotten some really cool comments, and I'm appreciative of everyone that sort of resonates with what I'm talking